All right, let's get right into it. Welcome, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for this explainer. Look, if you've been following the tech world even a little bit this week, you already know Google I/O 2026 just wrapped up. And frankly, the sheer volume of announcements was completely staggering. But today, we are cutting entirely through the noise. We're going to focus purely on the absolute biggest news out of the conference, which is the massive, top-to-bottom evolution of Gemini. We are talking about a stunning new visual language that completely changes how we interact with the AI, paired up with some absolute powerhouse upgrades on the back end. It is this perfect intersection of form meeting function, and I literally cannot wait to show you exactly how this is going to change your day-to-day workflow.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're taking a two-part journey today. First, the neural expressive redesign, and second, UI built for fast scanning. Then we'll hit the engineering leaps, Flash's speed and coding power, and finally, Omni's conversational video editing.
Section 1. The Neural Expressive Redesign, bringing the app to life.
So we are talking about a complete overhaul of the Gemini app, from the default home screen to the Gemini live screen, right down to the in-chat UI. Literally every single aspect of the experience has been updated to fit this brand new design language called Neural Expressive. And Google's stated goal here was to make the app feel alive and dynamic rather than a static, calculated, cold piece of software. And they kind of nailed it. To get that organic feel, they've brought in these incredibly vibrant colors, completely new typography, and actual haptic feedback, so the app physically responds to you. It takes the whole experience from feeling like you're, just typing into a robotic terminal to feeling like you're working with a fluid, responsive, truly intelligent assistant.
A huge part of that alive feeling comes from the new fluid animations. When you type a prompt, boom, you get this beautiful typing prompt gradient glow at the top. When you speak into Gemini Live, there's a flowing gradient that perfectly matches your cadence. If you share your screen, you get this slick screen-sharing glowing bubble that pops the controls in and out seamlessly. And activating the overlay triggers a really vibrant dot matrix animation. It all just reacts instantly to whatever you're doing.
Section 2. UI built for fast scanning. Ditching the text wall.
Because as great as it looks, how does it actually help us absorb information? Well, in the past, asking an AI for info meant getting hit with a boring wall of text. If you were lucky, maybe it was broken up by paragraphs. But the new UI is incredibly dynamic. We are trading those old text walls for live maps, bold text, and visual context cards. The new Gemini operates way more like a beautifully designed website than an outdated chat box.
Let's say you're searching for mountain view landmarks. Instead of just dumping a ton of text on you, Gemini instantly puts the most important information right at the top. You get a live, interactive map immediately. Below that, each landmark gets its own dedicated context card with real photos and direct location info. And then finally, underneath all that visual context, you get a clean, bulleted breakdown organizing the details. You can scan it at a quick glance and get exactly what you need without having to read an entire essay. Let's move to the back end and see how this all builds together. Section 3. Flash, speed, and coding power. The engineering leap.
This whole visual leap is powered by Gemini 3.5 Flash. Now, Flash models are Google's speed-optimized, cost-efficient tier built for massive scale. And 3.5 just supercharges that whole concept. The benchmark data here is honestly wild. For coding capability, 3.5 Flash achieves high parity. It's on par with Gemini 3.1 Pro and almost at parity with GPT 5.5. But here is the absolute kicker: cost efficiency. It's pulling off this frontier intelligence while remaining a third to a half cheaper than the baseline cost. You're getting top-tier brain power at just a fraction of the expected price.
Now, what's really interesting is this right here, 4x. Not only is 3.5 Flash highly capable and incredibly cheap, it is literally 4 times faster than other frontier models when we're talking tokens per second. That means lightning-fast generation for everyday tasks. When you combine those visual scanning upgrades we just talked about with a model that thinks and spits out answers 4 times faster, the friction of actually getting work done basically disappears.
And that vanishing friction leads us perfectly into our final chapter. Section 4. Omni. Conversational video editing, the next AI era.
So what exactly is Gemini Omni? Well, it's a new built-in model for Plus, Pro, and Ultra subscribers that seamlessly combines text, image, and video inputs to generate high-quality video outputs. If you recall Google's Nano Banana framework from previous deep dives, it's essentially like that, but purposefully engineered from the ground up for video. Omni is taking incredibly complex multimodal capabilities and making them totally accessible directly from your phone or desktop.
Think about the power of conversational video editing for a second.
Imagine you just upload a piece of raw footage right from your camera roll. Instead of booting up some complex timeline editor, you just type to Gemini Omni, apply a cinematic zoom, and that's it. The AI natively understands the spatial depth of your video and smoothly pushes the camera in, exactly as you saw it in your head.
And you don't have to stop there. Because Omni processes text, images, and video all together, you can just as easily keep typing and swap out the background. Effortlessly, the mundane living room behind you in your footage is replaced by a bustling city street, or maybe a tranquil forest. It's all done using everyday conversational language. This completely democratizes high-end video editing by turning the whole thing into a simple chat prompt. But here is the real game changer, the feature that fixes one of the absolute most notorious problems in generative AI, character consistency. With Gemini Omni, you can create a custom AI avatar that actually looks and sounds exactly like you, and the model maintains that exact consistency across all your scenes. You don't just morph into a completely different person when the camera angle changes. It solves a massive headache for creators, and it makes AI video generation truly practical for everyday production.
We've gone from staring at cold, robotic text walls to interacting with a fluid, vibrant, neural expressive UI that literally edits our videos just by us talking to it. The sheer speed of 3.5 Flash and the magic of Omni mean the old barriers to execution are essentially just gone. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought to ponder. As AI handles the heavy lifting, moving from simple text generation to true conversational video editing, what will you create next? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I highly encourage you to go explore these new Gemini updates yourself, feel that new haptic feedback, and test out those speeds. I'll catch you in the next one.